So, what if I told you that cognitive decline isn't your destiny? In this explainer, we are going to unpack the incredible new science of brain aging. And spoiler alert, the story it tells isn't about fate. It's about a future you have the power to shape, starting, well, right now. Let's just start with the single most important number from all of the research, 40%. I really want you to let that sink in for a second, because this one statistic, it changes everything we thought we knew about getting older. That's right. According to a huge landmark report from the Lancet Commission, almost half of all dementia cases around the world are linked to factors that we can actually influence. This isn't a story about your genes. It's a story about biology we have the power to actively shape. Okay, so to understand how we can protect our brains, first, we really need to get what's going on under the hood. This is not just about getting old. You know, the science is crystal clear on this. Cognitive decline isn't some switch that flips when you hit a certain age. Nope, it's the end result of a long, slow, quiet process. Things that have been happening for decades. Our genetics, our choices, our environment, they've all been shaping our brain's biology. And these are the hidden drivers. You've probably heard of amyloid plaques and tau tangles, right? They're kind of the classic villains in the Alzheimer's story, but they don't just show up overnight. Think of them and all this other stuff like chronic inflammation as these silent saboteurs, slowly, and I mean slowly, chipping away at your brain's communication network for years before you'd ever even notice a single symptom. And that leads us to the most crucial and frankly the most empowering part of this whole story. Many of the things that speed up these changes, they're things we can actually modify. So let's take a look at your personal health dashboard, the dials and levers you can actually control. So this table, which is based on that huge Lancet Commission report, it lays out the 12 big ones. Now, some of these are pretty obvious, right? Like smoking or managing your blood pressure. But look at some of the others that might surprise you, like hearing loss. Untreated hearing loss is actually one of the strongest modifiable risks because it forces your brain to work overtime just to hear, and it can also lead to social withdrawal. Managing these 12 things is really the foundation of lowering your risk. Okay, enough about the risks. We've talked about that. Now for the really empowering part. Let's move on to the actual evidence-based strategies that don't just reduce risk, but actively protect and strengthen your brain. This is the fun stuff. This whole concept is called neuroplasticity, and it's the bedrock of prevention. It just means your brain isn't fixed, it's not set in stone. The actions you take today can literally build a stronger, more resilient brain for tomorrow. This is where our power lies. So how do we actually do it? Well, researchers have basically distilled all the science down into these 6 powerful pillars. Think of this as your practical toolkit for building a brand that can weather the storms of aging. Let's dig into each one. This is the first and probably the simplest rule of thumb. Your brain is a super high-performance engine. It demands about 20% of your body's total oxygen and calories. And your heart and your blood vessels, well, that's the fuel line. So that's why managing blood pressure and cholesterol isn't just about heart health, it's absolutely non-negotiable for keeping that engine running smoothly. Seriously, if you're going to pick just one thing to start with, the evidence is just overwhelming on this point. Physical activity is so much more than just being good for your body. It's a direct, powerful intervention for your brain. And this shows you exactly why. Exercise boosts something called BDNF, which is basically like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. It literally helps you grow new neurons, especially in the memory centers of the brain. You are physically building a better, stronger brain every single time you go for a brisk walk or lift some weights. Okay, our third pillar is about building something scientists call cognitive reserve. And I love this analogy. Think of it as creating backup wiring for your brain. The goal is to build such a dense, interconnected network of pathways that if one road gets a pothole or gets blocked by age, your brain just goes, no problem, and takes one of the countless other routes to get the job done. And how do you build this backup wiring? By challenging your brain with new and complex things. Learning a new skill, like an instrument or a language, forces your brain to pave brand new roads. This isn't about doing the same crossword puzzle you've already mastered every day. It's about pushing yourself just outside that cognitive comfort zone. Please do not underestimate this next one. It's a true neuroscience superpower. We are social creatures, and engaging in a meaningful conversation literally exercises the parts of our brain that are responsible for memory and attention. Research shows that even just 10 minutes a day can make a measurable difference. Now this is just fascinating. While you're asleep, your brain is hard at work. There's this special system, the glymphatic system, that acts like a nightly cleaning crew. It's flushing out all the metabolic junk that builds up during the day, including those very same amyloid proteins we were talking about earlier. So prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, it's not a luxury. It is essential maintenance. And finally, let's talk about food. The two diets with the most rock-solid scientific backing for brain health are the Mediterranean and the MIND diets. And as you can see, they pretty much share the same goal. They want to reduce inflammation. And they do that by prioritizing whole foods, vegetables, berries, healthy fats, while limiting processed foods that can fuel that inflammation. Okay, we have covered a lot of science. So what does this all actually look like in practice? Let's distill everything we've just learned into a simple, actionable blueprint you can start using, like, today. And this right here, this might be the most important takeaway of all. Protecting your brain is not about some massive, overwhelming life overhaul. The real power is in small, consistent actions. Each tiny step you take, when you repeat it over time, is another brick you're laying on the foundation of a more resilient brain. So let's bring it all together into one simple checklist. Every day, you can just ask yourself, did I move my body? Did I challenge my mind? Did I connect with someone? This is how you turn all of that complex science into a simple, practical guide for your life. As we wrap up, I really want to leave you with this question, because the science is clear. Your future brain health is not predetermined. It is something you are actively building right now in this moment. The journey to a more resilient brain, it starts with that one small single step you decide to take today.